So I just watched the latest episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's episode 2, and we got a duel in this episode that I thought would come much later on. It was Rook versus Yuga, and I'll talk more in detail about it in a minute, but the big thing to take away from this is our main character is beatable. This is the second duel he's had in the series, and now that he's played against Rook, spoilers, he lost this duel. He lost basically by chance. It was a chance that he could have won, it was a chance that he could have lost. If he would have had a fire monster or a light monster, I think, go to the graveyard, he would have had just enough attack to OTK Rook. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, and Rook was able to take it back, attack, and even though Yuga had something in place to help himself, he was able to defeat him even with that. What I like about this is we don't have an unbeatable character as our main character anymore, so it means there's actual stakes to duels from now on. You knew, for example, Yusaku Fujiki, most of the time he's not going to lose because the stakes are so high, but because of the environment that this series is set in, you can have some losses every now and then. The fate of the world isn't on the line, so you might as well. It was fun, but short as well, because this is a whole rush duel mechanic thing, so you need to keep in mind that duels are going to be shorter, I guess. This lasted, what, 3 turns? I think Yuga went first, Rook took his go, Yuga then had his go, and then Rook finished it. So 4 turns altogether that duel was. So expect that, maybe like an average duel length with like maybe 8, less than 10 turns for future episodes. I'm sure a couple of these rush duels will go a little bit slower, but for the time being, we had this duel, and I enjoyed the duel. But if we go back to the start of the episode, we got something interesting. It was a continuation of where we left off last time. The pathway had been opened up, and it was the pathway that leads to the Duel King. The Duel King is the one who shapes dueling, can dictate the rules, and basically is inspiration for everyone else, in a way, if you will. Yuga said that, Rook, you should take this path. He doesn't believe it's for me. But I like how Rook was just like, yeah, okay, and just goes straight there. And he walked straight into a wall because that wasn't actually a pathway, it was a metaphorical pathway. The pathway is now open for someone to take the Duel King position. Again, in this episode, I'm still watching it from a mindset of it is obviously aimed towards a younger audience, but I'm still having fun with this because I don't know, like, a couple of things I didn't mention in the last episode with episode 1 is, though it is kid environment, there is like a weird little dark theme going on with all the surveillance and the monitoring and the rules and everything in the background that this YUGIOH Corp has established. So I feel like there's a little bit of there to play with them, the fact that being monitored all the time. A couple of things we got established in this episode that I think are worth bringing up is the fact that Romin, the purple-haired girl, she definitely has some sort of ulterior motives going on because she's taking a picture of all these different things that are happening. Whether she's working with maybe YUGIOH Corp, we don't know just yet. And spoilers, you can tell by the introduction, the intro cinematic thing, but she does have a deck. She plays like a guitar-themed deck, even though she's denying that she ever plays the card game. So I'm curious to see when that comes to light and she actually tries to duel. That could be quite fun, but she wasn't really in this episode too much. The class president really wasn't in the episode too much either. This episode mainly focused on Yuga and Rook and their duel, and the fact that Rook wants to keep rush duels a secret so that they don't get their accounts banned, and so that they can capitalize on this whole thing. But Yuga never really designed rush duels for this. He wants to give it to everyone so they can have fun. He uses their duel as an opportunity to promote this dueling style. They all upload it onto Yu-Gi-Oh! YouTube. I don't know what it was called, but it goes viral. Everybody sees it and everyone thinks it's really awesome, and they all want to duel like it. And I'll be completely honest with you, the more I watch the rush duels, the more I kind of want to give the whole mechanic a try. I could probably try it with just like regular cards, but I kind of want the rush duel cards just to give it a go kind of thing. I don't know, it looks like fun. I quite like this rush dueling style. It's captivated me at the very least. So yeah, the duel gets broadcast, everyone sees it, so now I think we're going to see some other people using the rush dueling styles. Between the duel between Yuga and Rook, I enjoyed it. Rook plays like a dragon-themed deck, which is quite fitting for a rival character. Some people say he's not the rival, he's just like a friend character, but we'll see. He talks a little bit more about his origin of his demon power that he was talking about in the last episode. Apparently he's possessed by a demon, and technology around him just doesn't work. He can break it. And when he discovered he had this power, he capitalized on it by challenging adults and whatnot, and that's how he's so good. He is the 7th best duelist in their year at that school, so take with that what you will. He's not the best, but I liked his ace monster. It had the ability to attack twice, I think it was. So pretty strong. It looked kind of cool. 2500 attack. Yuga's plays in this episode. He does mainly have like spellcaster type monsters, but I guess he's got a little mix of everything. We didn't see anything too new from Yuga's plays, but we got to see obviously the mechanics being used again. The only new thing we had was the fact we had attack position to defense position explained. That's for the kiddies that don't know how Yu-Gi-Oh is played, so that was for them. The fact that Yuga lost this duel, I mean, it could be that Yuga is potentially the weakest main character in comparison to other Yu-Gi-Oh main characters, but that's absolutely fine. It's not a life and death situation at the moment in the anime. We'll see how things go a little bit further on, but I think they're going to keep this light-hearted tone. I mean, we saw the main villain, or I assume it's the main villain so far, the Goha Corp president, which he looked like some super evil villain guy, but it made me laugh because he answers his question like, oh, all these calls about Rush Duel, and he's like, oh. And he sits down, the little girl's like, I really like Rush Duel, and he's like, ho, ho, ho. I don't know what's going on yet. We haven't had any dialogue, so I'm curious to see what that is. So the big takeaway in this episode is we had a lot of things that were established in the last episode, explained a little bit more. We now know what the Duel King is. It's the person that dictates the rules of the Yu-Gi-Oh game and their inspiration to other people. We now know that it has been transferred to everyone. We don't know if Master Rule Dueling is still a thing, but I assume it is so. We now have this dueling style going viral to everyone. They're understanding the rules because it's just been shared via online. We've seen our big bad. The account ban thing still hasn't been explained. Like, what happens if you get your account banned? Does it mean you can't duel? I guess so. Overall, 2 episodes into the new Yu-Gi-Oh anime, I'm still enjoying it. I can see some people being put off by its light-hearted tone. You gotta keep in mind at the end of the day, it's aimed towards kids. It's a children's card game. If they want to aim towards a child demographic, they can. Little bits and pieces I've heard off other people as well is the fact that this anime now comes out on Saturday mornings in Japan, so that's why it's more geared towards a Saturday morning cartoon style. And obviously there's a new animation team, that's why the animation looks different. I've seen a lot of people say it doesn't look like Yu-Gi-Oh anymore, and it doesn't look like every other Yu-Gi-Oh series. I completely agree. So like if you ever got like a Bonds Beyond Time movie where the characters come together, Yuga would look very different in comparison, so I don't think that would ever happen. But I don't know, I like the art style. I think it looks quite good for me anyway. I think it looks fine. There's a couple like animation bits where characters are not too heavily animated, but I guess it's not too much of an issue. But yeah, I'm still enjoying it. I'd love to know what you guys think in the comment section below. What did you think of episode 2 if you've watched it? And what do you think of Rush Dueling overall? Rush Dueling I really want to try. I want to see if it's as good as it looks in the show. But yeah, let me know in the comment section below. Thank you all for watching, and I guess I'll see you all next week. Catch you later.